Hello and welcome to Where's Wilmington. You know, who doesn't need a little magic in their life? I don't know about you, but I could certainly use some. So if you are like me, tonight you are going to be amazed, even if it's today when you're watching, since you know the show is on all the time. So today we have with us Matias Letelier. I hope I'm not butchering the name. And he is a magician. He's going to be coming to WCTV on August 25th to do a magic show for us. But we thought we might give you the inside track, a little bit about magic. And he's also brought some friends along who are going to be in the second segment. So thank you for being with me today.
Thank you very much, Lisa, for inviting me.
Good to have you. So I'm sure folks will notice that you have a little bit of an accent. So you're from Chile, as they say. How long have you been in the United States?
I would say for like about 3 years so far.
How do you like it?
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Massachusetts is amazing.
Excellent. And I know that you have been performing magic for a lot longer than just the time you've been here. At least 10 years, right? 15 years or so?
Yeah, about 15 years.
Yeah, and you barely look 25, so I don't know how that's possible. You must have started when you were 8. You actually learned some of the magic that you do from a relative. That's how you began, right? Tell us about that, because I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, my uncle, he was a great magician, and when he was about in his 20s, he did a lot of magic tricks, and suddenly on the 2004, unfortunately he died. Fortunately, I inherited his magic library. So after that, I started reading, and everything that started as a hobby, then I took it into the professional level. So my level of magic increased a lot, and then I started learning that magic is not just about tricks. It's a lot more. It's about like how to create a magical experience for the people that is watching the trick, and that's
right.
I owe that to my uncle.
Because you can do the tricks, but if you don't have the finesse or
Yes.
the charm, or if you don't make it fun for people, if they don't want to trust you and believe you, even if the trick is good, it won't feel the same.
You have to tell a story, and people have to somehow connect to the story and be like, oh wow, that's interesting. It's about letting your imagination play. Right. So I create a story that tells the people, hey, I want you to imagine and to experience and live this moment with me, and you're going to experience this, what I call magic.
So, were there any other influences in your life other than your uncle for magic? We know there are many magicians. I could name a few. David Blaine, if you call him a magician, and Debbie Carroll, Carroll actually, who's coming later, was saying that there's an actual category of magic called bizarre magic. So that's the category they live under. But there's Siegfried and Roy and many other traditional magicians. Was there anyone that you felt influenced by that helped you with your craft?
Yes, especially there's one that is from Spain. His name is Juan Tamariz, or Joan Tamariz.
Okay.
And he's the most famous card magician, and actually right now he's the best world card magician. And he's, I was able to meet him a long time ago, and he liked my magic, and he also recommended me some books, some of his books as well. So that was a huge thing for me. And also, Dani Da Ortiz, he's also from Spain, and he talks a little bit about the psychology of the magic. So it has been great. And then the other one the other two that I like a lot is David Copperfield. Right. Because of his stage illusions and the way he presents the illusions. And also a guy who is very similar to him, but in France, Dani Lahire. And Dani, he also presents the illusions in a way that he creates a story. So instead of just showing you a trick, like for example, David Copperfield flying, David Copperfield will show him flying above the sea with a nice sunset and with some birds flying around him. So it's a whole story that he's telling you. It's not just he's flying, it's a whole story, and I love that from him.
Excellent. Now, you're not just trained in magic. You went to college for something else, which I also thought was very fascinating. Tell us a little bit about how you marry those two fields.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I study economics and business.
Which is helpful.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Right? In your business, you need those tools. But what did your parents or your family say when you said, I'm giving up the world of economics and business to become a magician?
Are you kidding me?
With that?
That's what he said, my dad. Are you kidding me?
Right.
But then that was the first time that I told him, hey, I'm going to study, I want to do magic. And he was like, okay, finish business school, okay?
Right.
And I said, but then I told him, hey, what about if I mix both? Like all the tools that I learned in the business school, what if I put that into magic, and then I create something new, like corporate magic, which is which is an area of the magic that not all of the magicians focus on. Most of the magicians, they do kids parties. I do a lot of kids parties as well. But then you have stage illusions. But corporate magic, that's one that you need, first of all, the business or skills or business knowledge.
Right.
And then the magic. So I create something that it says, I said it fuses the marketing and magic. And so that way, I made my dad happy. And at the same time, I'm able to use all of the tools that I learned when I went to college.
So that was your first trick, right there.
That was my first trick, yeah.
Getting that done.
Yeah, no, but my dad, let me tell you a little story about my dad.
Do.
So I studied, I was studying economics and business, and then suddenly he went to a magic show, and he saw this magician perform an amazing trick for him. And then he called me right away after he went to this corporate event, and then he said, okay, Matias, I saw this trick. It was amazing. If you can do that, okay, I'm going to believe that you're a magician.
Did you do it?
It took me 2 years.
Wow.
I practiced, rehearsed almost every single day. And then it was his birthday. And I went to to the party, and then I said, hey, Dad, I want to show you something. So then I said, I did exactly the same trick. And it was a very emotional moment for him.
Of course.
And after that, he believed in me, and now he's really proud.
So after that, everything was smoothed over.
Yes.
Which is nice. How do you take the tricks that you learn and make them your own? Because I'm sure there are standard, I don't know, 200, 300 standard magician tricks, right, that you learn. How do you make them your own so that people don't say, oh, I've seen somebody pull the scarf, or I've seen the name my card.
What about if I show you one of my tricks?
Show me.
So I have one trick, and actually this trick is very special for me because it's the trick that I created when I moved here to Massachusetts. So I didn't know how to speak English, so I said, okay.
You didn't know how to speak English when you came here?
I knew just a little bit.
Well, you're doing excellent.
Thank you. Yeah, well,
Very
my wife is my personal teacher, so
Perfect.
I've been improving that a lot. So I said, okay, what about if I try to do something and I teach the cards how to do magic for me? Great. So here, let me see if I can show like all the cards. Okay. And all the cards are different. And what I want to ask you is if you can choose one card, take one card.
Just one. Okay.
And then I just want to show you that here all the cards, you have to be the witness right now, that you have to be like certified that all the cards are different, right?
Yes, I will certify all the cards.
Perfect. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you if you like that card or you would like to trade it for any of these.
I think this one's all right.
That one is good? So you don't want to trade it for any of these, maybe this one? No?
No, I'm good.
Okay, perfect. So what I want to do is please put the card back.
On the top?
Yep.
Right there? Okay.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of these cards right over here, and I'm going to shuffle this just a few times. So let's try it. The first one. There we go. And then one more, and then I think we're going to be all set with that. The time is usually a nice number to shuffle.
Ooh.
Perfect.
Nice job.
Thank you. So let me tell you. So here I have 3 of hearts, and first of all, the thing that I recognize here is the color. That was the first thing that I taught the cards, to recognize the color, red. Then the symbol, hearts, and then the number, 3. So actually it's very easy once you do it that way. But then you might ask me, like, how do I do this? So here it is. I'm going to spell red, and let's see what comes on. So R-E-D, and you will see that a red card will come on top.
Right.
Which is pretty interesting.
That's amazing.
What about if we try with black? So B-L-A-C-K. So we have a black card as well, which is even more interesting. Yes. Now, what about if I try with a number? For example, 5 of spades. It's a good card. So let's try. F-I-B-E-O-F. So 5 of spades. S-P-A-D-E-S. And then I think we have a 5 of spades.
Bravo.
Thank you. But let me ask you, what was your card, the one that you looked?
Is it okay to tell you?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, it's 7 of diamonds.
The 7 of diamonds.
Yes.
That's a very interesting card. Now, what I would like you to do is I want you to do exactly the same as we're doing here.
Okay.
So take all the cards.
Yes.
And please spell 7 right over here.
Okay. S-E-V-E-7. N.
And then O, O-F.
O-F.
And then diamonds.
D-I-A-M-O-N-D. With an S?
Mm-hmm.
S.
So take the last card
This
and
way.
flip it over.
Hey! That
And we
was
have
awesome!
The 7 of diamonds.
Wow! I won't ask you how you did that.
Can you give the secret?
Yes.
Me too.
I know. Which brings me to an interesting question.
That's very
You've
interesting.
seen these programs where they show how the magic is done. What do you think about that?
Well, magic is about believing, and magic happens when you want it to happen, and when you believe that something happened when actually it was only your imagination.
Right.
So magic plays with the imagination. What happened with these programs is that they go and destroy the imagination of the people. People doesn't want to see how it's done. Of course, you have some people that wants to go and see like, hey, I really want to know how it's done. But actually, if you go to a movie, would you like somebody to tell you how the movie ends
No.
before you watch the movie?
No. Right.
So magic, everybody knows that magic has a secret. But the interesting thing about magic is that you don't let that affect you. You are like, okay, I know it has a secret, but I still want to be amazed. Otherwise, people won't go to the magic show, because if they want to know, they can just go and buy the books. But so this program, what this program did was, the idea of this guy was to show like the magic to the world, so the magicians renew the craft and they reveal the illusions. But the way he did it wasn't the right one. Also, they pay him a lot of money, so he sell himself to the to the market, and I don't agree with that. I said, if you want to learn how to do the magic, then go take one of the class. You can join my magic school,
Right.
But if you want to reveal the secret, if you just want to know the secret because you want to know it, then it's almost like destroying one part of life, which is the imagination.
Right.
If we don't have the imagination, we won't be able to do anything. And magic plays with the imagination. So basically, it's like when you tell a kid, hey, you know, Santa Claus doesn't exist. The kid, he might start crying, or the little boy or girl, because it's something fantasy that they think it's real, and they really they believe in that, and suddenly they tell them, oh no, you know what, it's not real. So it
robs people of their joy.
Exactly.
I think another angle that you could look at with that too is some of the tricks that they show are probably so standardized that, you know, we all kind of have a sense of how some of them work because we've seen them over time. But some of the illusions and tricks that you do are very unusual and very different. I'm sure we're not going to see those on that show. So I think that they do a lot of the basic magic tricks, but I still see your point. It is sort of ruining it for people.
And people also, I have told with people who told me like, hey, you know, I watched the program, but then I got tired because I didn't find it like interesting. And I also said like, you know, I don't want to know how it's done. And so that was very good for us.
Right. Have you ever had anything happen, any mishaps at shows that you had to cover up for, or a trick didn't go quite right, but you still were able to pull it off?
Well, when I first started doing magic, and I wasn't a professional, a few things happened. But then right now what happened is that I know a lot of tools. Okay. So even though sometimes, if you ask my wife, she will answer you something else. But when something goes wrong,
yes.
I will use another technique to cover that, so that way the people who is watching the show, they won't realize that something went wrong, and they will be like, oh, they saw a magic trick, maybe not as good as the one that I wanted to do, but I never fail, or because otherwise people wouldn't believe in me.
Right.
And
you can't let them see you sweat.
Exactly. Even though I really sweat like a lot.
Are you tough on yourself when things don't go 100% the way you want? Are you difficult with yourself? Oh, I think most artists are. Do you replay it in your head as to how it could have been better? Do you do that?
Yes. Usually what I do is whenever I do a trick, I ask a lot of opinions. So I have my cousin in Chile, and he's also a magician, and I taught him, but he has an amazing technique. And most of the time that I create something, I call him via Skype, and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this trick? And then we share each other comments. And then with the other tricks that I do, usually I try them, and every time I kind of like take out the bad parts. I
You're constantly perfecting the
yeah,
recipe
try to
until
perfect
it's
it.
perfect.
Yeah, because the magic is about perfectionist.
Yeah.
I'm very perfectionist. Of course, sometimes there are a few things that I'm on a rush and I just do it and then I regret because it wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be. But the idea is that magic plays with the emotion. So if I want to evoke an emotion, I have to work in the text. So the trick is one part, is what I do. The second part is what I say, and the third part is the context. Those three elements combined together will change or will turn a trick into magic.
Excellent. And that is the science and craft of magic. It's not just doing tricks, right?
Oh no.
Now, you brought some friends along with you who we're going to see in the next segment. One of them is a lady magician, which I think she said there are only 12 in the country, so you'll want to see her. And the other friend you brought along is an author who is actually basing a character, a magical character, on some of the things that you and Debbie are telling him, right? So when we come back, we're going to sit with Matias and his two friends. Maybe we'll do another trick if we can get a couple more tricks in. We'd love that. And don't forget that you can see Matias right here at WCTV on August 25th. He's doing a magic show for our anniversary party here, so be sure you mark your calendar for that. But stay right with us. We'll be back with more of Where's Wilmington and more magic right after this.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Hi, welcome back to Where's Wilmington. I'd like to tell you I magically made these guests appear, but I didn't. As you know, we have Matias the magician here. Next to him is the lovely Debbie O'Carroll. She is a lady magician, so you definitely want to watch out for her. And next to her is Len Rosen. He's a writer, and he's actually written some books that include, well, actually he's working on his third book that includes a character that these two magicians are helping him formulate. So how cool is that? Welcome, you two. Glad to have you here. I'm going to start with you, Debbie, and ask how it is that you got into this very highly male-dominated profession of magic.
Well, as a child, I did magic tricks. I wasn't allowed to join the boys' magic club in my high school, so I ended up making all my own tricks. And
Wow.
that's why my magic show is still so different than anything a man can do. But when I got out of college, I worked in children's theater with a man named Tom Bergeron, who has gone on to be very famous, and another man named Gene Bowles. And Tom dabbled in magic.
Really?
And yes, and he's done a few magic shows himself. And so then I picked it up again, and with the children's theater background and all the acting and the dance and the theater, I was able to really
Because speaking to
make it.
Matias earlier, you know, I didn't really think about the pageantry that goes along with doing magic, I guess you would say properly, in a perfect way. You need to have that sort of sense of mystery, right? And do you copyright all the tricks that you made up? Because all of yours are original. Do you copyright them or patent them, or are they protected?
No, that's a good question.
Well, don't take them, because they belong to her. Can people copyright their magic tricks? Do you know? I don't know if they can.
It's, what happened is in the magic world works like very different from like the technology world. So usually there's kind of like a code between the magicians, so they recognize some of the work. There are magicians who steal other magicians' work, and then the magic community starts saying like, "Hey, this guy stole the work of."
So your organization is self-policing then, so far. Okay.
Yes, there are.
How many magicians are there in your club or the organizations that you belong to as a whole? I know there's only 12 females, you said. That's an easy enough number to remember.
Well,
do you think there's thousands, hundreds? I don't know.
We belong to the IBM, which is International Brotherhood of Magicians, and it has rings where around the world. A lot of here in the States, and then there's also one in my country and in Europe. In all the world, you have these rings. I would say in the ring 121, sorry, 122.
122 is
it's
50, 55.
55 members so far.
Wow.
Big.
But then this is kind of like a little one, and then you have all of these other rings. For example, when I was in Connecticut, I was in the ring 59, and then in Texas in the ring 60, and those also were like 30, 40. So then you have like these small communities, but then a huge community around the world, and we gather together every year.
That's got to be something.
Yeah, there's one right now in actually it started today. It's the July 17th in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you say rings, each club has a different ring, and that's how it works.
Each club
out
is
from
a
there?
ring.
Okay. And as it being a brotherhood, did they let you in?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Yes.
Because I would have been pretty upset if that wasn't the case.
Well, they let in the assistants too, you see. So they had
And you
to
were
let-
saying earlier, Debbie, that there are actually some male magicians' assistants too. I mean, I've seen some carrying heavy stuff, but I never saw any, doing with the pretty outfits and all that. But there are male magicians' assistants too.
I have one.
You do?
Yes, it's my husband.
Perfect.
And he
Perfect.
plays music while I do magic.
Nice.
And
nice.
he's from Ireland, and he has a darling accent too.
Perfect.
So he's wonderful, but he also does help with the magic.
Excellent.
He's learned those secrets
And keeps them.
and keeps them.
Which
yes,
is good.
It's the
Now
bread
you
and butter.
have something coming up. You don't do children's parties like Matias does, but you are doing something for the
But I
Wilmington
keep
Library,
telling
right?
her to do it.
Yes,
She's
you have
great.
to do it. You have to do it. But you're at the library. Tell us a little bit about that.
I'm at the Wilmington Public Library doing a show called Celebrate the December Holidays Magic Show. So it's about different magical celebrations in December. Christmas and Hanukkah, Diwali, Las Posadas, many, many different festivals. It's on December 11th at 7
Excellent.
o'clock.
And I am sure that the Wilmington Library, Tina Stewart, will have all of that on their website for you.
Yes.
So that'll be great. So Len, waiting there patiently to talk to me. How did you meet these two lovely folks? And I also have your second book here, too, The 10th Witness, right here by Len. But you're working on your third. So how did you meet these fabulous folks?
Well, I had an idea for a book about a magician, and this follows from a magic show I went to. And good magicians, there's always this moment in the show, or many moments for a good magician, where your jaw drops
Right.
and you're amazed. Now, in that moment, before the analytical brain kicks in that moment, the magician has bent the laws of physics. Anything is possible. How did this appear? It wasn't there, it was invisible, now visible. How is this possible? I'm interested in that moment when, at least to the audience, magic is possible.
Right.
Everyone in the room at that moment is amazed except one person. That would be the magician.
Right.
I'm interested in writing a story in which the magician becomes amazed by his own magic.
Wow.
And it would take a lot, wouldn't it?
Yes. And I don't even know how that would work. You'd have to give him a split personality or something. I don't know.
Well,
Did I just ruin it?
no, you didn't. Likely what will happen is that the story will come to a place where a lot depends on his ability to do a trick,
Right.
and yet physically he won't be able to. But he'll have to go on because he needs to in order to save the day in one way or another. And the trick will unfold, and he won't know how.
Wow. But you're going to help him because you're the writer. So
I'll
you'll
help-
make
I'll
sure it
help
all
him.
ends happy.
So I had this idea for a story, and I did a little work, a little research, and I discovered that IBM stands for something other than International Business Machines. It
Okay.
stands for the International Brotherhood of Magicians.
Right.
I found the recording secretary, Debbie O'Carroll, and I said, please, can you help me find a magician to study with? And she pointed me to Matias, and Matias has been my teacher
Wow.
for 6 months now. We meet every week or two, and I see magic, I learn about magic, I go to shows.
Neat.
It's been tremendous.
I would imagine it's been very eye-opening for you because now you're behind the velvet ropes, so to speak. So you're getting to see the amazingness that you've been talking about firsthand.
Yes, but Matias, as in the first segment you heard, is able to keep a secret.
Right.
So
right.
unless I can figure it out, I'm on my own because
Wow.
he doesn't tell me.
Well, because he's not a real magician, you can't, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that the rules?
I'm trying to, we can say like, if this is the right angle and this is the wrong angle, he's kind of like in the middle.
Yeah.
So I let him see enough so he can work on his book, but not so he can learn how the secret
Right.
is.
Because
how the
then
trick
there
is
would
done.
be no fantasy left.
Exactly.
And the name of this book is going to be Northeast Kingdom, correct? When are we going to be able to take a look at that?
Oh, well, that would be a good question. I'm still writing it.
Okay.
It will be a while.
Like maybe a year, maybe more?
Oh, it would be at least a year.
Okay, so we'll be ready for that when that comes out. How do you, as a writer, and I've had a few writers on here before, but how do you personally map out what you do? Do you do an outline? Do you just free-flowingly write it? Do you have an end point in mind? What is your philosophy about that?
Do you know the story Harold and the Purple Crayon?
Yes.
Well, this is the story in which Harold, who's going to sleep, is not really very interested in going to sleep, and he takes a crayon and he draws a little window, and he grows out the window, and this is my method.
Okay.
I will draw a square, so to speak, and stand on it, and it's very flimsy, and until I draw other things around it, I could fall off into nothing. And I draw things around it, and that feels substantial, and then I'll draw a road, and with words, not with my purple crayon, and then I'll walk down the road, and things happen that way. I have an outline, but that's really only a prop or an illusion for me to take my first step. And then it's all about my purple crayon, or the words that I use to create the next step and the next step. And before that, not so long, a chapter's done, and then another chapter, and then the book.
Do you think it writes itself? Some people say that.
The book I'm working on now is certainly writing itself. I'm surprised constantly.
It's magic.
Yeah, well, it is, in a way.
For real.
And this
There
is,
are parallels between writing and magic, because I used to write myself. That's what my degree is in. And you get to a point, I think, where it does take over. Hopefully it has a life of its own, which makes the story interesting. So do you see parallels with magic, their world, and the world of authors?
well, think about a successful novel is an illusion. And what is it about a good book that allows you to get excited or to weep at the death of a child? Something is real there, but yet it obviously is not real.
Right.
And this is an illusion. It's a misdirection. And the reader, just like the audience in a magic show, is brought into the illusion, and magic happens.
Who knew that these two things were so greatly correlated? That is awesome. Do you have time to do one more quick trick before we close?
Yes, we
All
can
right.
definitely
While you're
do
setting that up,
something.
Debbie, is there anything else you'd like to tell the viewers besides that they need to come see you in December? Anything else you'd like us to know? Do you have a website or anything we'd like?
Yes, my website is www.debbieocarroll.com.
Okay, we will put that up on the screen.
Yes.
What do we see there when we go there?
You'll see a list of all the shows that I do. You'll also see my calendar,
Nice.
so you can come and see a show.
Okay. And you are also, did he say the secretary for the Brotherhood of Magic? Is that how he met you
Yes.
through that? So
Yes.
you have that hat on as well.
Yes.
So if
Yes.
someone were interested in learning magic, they could consult Matias for lessons, but they could also talk to you if they want to join the Brotherhood, if they're ready to make that
Yes.
step, correct?
Yes.
Excellent. And Len, what would you like the folks out there to know about?
Well, I have a website, lenrosenonline.com. The 10th Witness.
Yes, this is book number 2.
is
What was book number 1?
All Cry Chaos. Won
Okay.
multiple awards and was translated into 10 languages. This book I hope will follow in that path. This
Well,
book,
we know it's at least going to be in Spanish, right?
I hope.
You have to read it.
The most obscure language so far for the other book is Macedonian.
Oh,
Who knew?
hey.
But this book, The 10th Witness, is coming out in September and will be available on Amazon.
Excellent. All right. Amaze
Okay,
me.
so
I'm ready.
I'm gonna take here.
Don't
What
you
would
guys
prefer?
forget that you can come see Matias on August 25th from 2 to 2:30. It's a free magic show. It'll be right here in the studio.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you prefer, ones or 20s?
Well, I prefer 20s.
20s. Okay, so I'm gonna take out the 20s right over here. Let me just put these ones right over here.
And I will give them back to you.
Okay, now I was tricking you because after the 20 there's a 1.
Uh-huh. That's how my wallet looks.
Yeah, that's. But let's see. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. $5 right over here. Now what I'm gonna try to do is don't blink your eyes. 1, 2, 3, and I believe right over here I'm gonna change this one for 100, 200, 300, 400, and $500. I don't Not sure if you can see
Let's-
them
let me
right
make
over
sure
there.
that's real.
500. No, this is my money. You can make appear your own. I'm gonna put this
I'm
one right
going to
over
have
here
to
for
join
me.
the club to
Yeah,
learn how
I
to
think
do
I'm
that.
ready to go to the casino
That's
right
it?
now.
Wow, that was pretty cool. I really like that.
Mm,
So I hope you were all amazed. I hope you enjoyed watching the show. This has been Where's Wilmington. We have with us Len Rosen, who is an author with a couple of great things coming out. The 10th Witness is coming out, and then the Northeast Kingdom, which will be based on some of these folks that you've seen tonight. Debbie O'Carroll, she was here to talk to us about magic. She's going to the Wilmington Town Library in December. And Matias, you can look him up anywhere. What's your website for them?
magicianmatias.com.
Excellent. But you can come see him live and in person on August 25th right here at WCTV. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you were amazed. Just keep in mind that the next time somebody asks you, where's Wilmington, you tell them right here and right here on WCTV. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.